views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the world to you. I'm your host, Veronica Güity, filling in for Bob Lee, and we've got a great show for you today. Coming up on today's show, when applying for college, students around the world face the same question: how will I pay for it? We'll sit down with community groups that have joined together for a workshop on how to finance college tuition. Plus, we'll check out a program working towards innovative solutions to educational issues. Then we'll hear about mindful eating and get tips on how to act with intention when choosing your meals. And we'll discuss bringing diversity to film with guests in studio from the African Diaspora Film Festival. And later on, we'll check out a lifestyle blogger and producer and her work with a goal to inspire. So stay tuned. All this and much more is headed your way because we are now open. Hello everyone, I'm your host Veronica Güity, and you are watching Open, the only live and interactive program that brings the Bronx and the New York City straight to your TV set. Stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. We begin this morning's show on a somber note, following news of yesterday's fatal shooting in a Texas church, leaving at least 26 dead and over 20 injured. Police have identified the gunman as 26-year-old Devin Patrick Kelly, who was found dead in a vehicle a few miles from where the attack took place. The victims ranged in age from 5 to 72. On behalf of the BronxNet team, our thoughts and prayers go out to all the victims and their loved ones. On a local note, we want to encourage you to stay involved in all the conversations and issues impacting our community. Tomorrow, November 7th, New York City elections are taking place. You have the opportunity to head out to the polls to make your voices heard by voting for your representatives in City Council, Comptroller, Public Advocate, and Mayor. Additionally, on the ballot, all of New York will be voting on whether or not a constitutional convention should be held. Manhattan College held an event showcasing both sides to this debate. Arlene Makoko has the story.
Should New York hold a constitutional convention?
So I think that the potential for changing elections, both in terms of money and in terms of making it easier to vote, and in terms of making it easier for independents to, having less partisan elections and more nonpartisan elections, that's a really exciting opportunity to me.
That was the question up for debate at Manhattan College, where both sides explained the history of the New York State Constitutional Convention and why it's critical that every registered voter turn over their ballot in November and vote yes or no on the following questions.
The Constitution in New York State is an additional document besides the U.S. Constitution, so it gives us extra rights and extra protections that the U.S. Constitution does. It was actually started in 1777. And it's been changed by Constitutional Convention 4 times up until 1894. And then after that, we have the basic Constitution that we have today. You're going to see 3 propositions. The first one will be the question of a Constitutional Convention, and the other 2 will be 2 other single amendments. One is whether or not we should remove pensions from corrupt politicians, and the other one is whether or not we should have more bike trails and also utility runs through the middle of the Adirondack Park.
While Legislative Coordinator for Communications Workers of America Local 1180, John O'Malley, is not in favor.
There are some provisions that are in the Constitution which are protective in nature. For an example, pensions for public employees in New York State, the civil service rules, the very rules that make sure that people get assigned jobs in the civil service by competition, not by political patronage. All of the rules of due process that are in there. There's also workman's compensation. There's also unemployment. So if you're a labor person, certainly a public sector labor person, those are protections that you really don't want to risk. We have a provision called Forever Wild in Catskill Park, which is basically says that none of that land can ever be sold off to a developer to make profit on it. It has to be forever wild, and that was really forward thinking at the time that it was put in 1894. We also have something called the Blaine Amendment. which says that no New York State taxpayer money can be used for private schools.
Top labor and employment lawyer Arthur Schwartz, who campaigned for Bernie Sanders and is a district leader in Greenwich Village, is.
There'd be a way to put the right to a clean environment in the Constitution. To me, that's a pretty important thing.
Guests found the evening informative and valuable, with some left neutral while others clear on how they'll vote. For BronxNet, this is Arlene Makoko.
Thank you, Arlene. The polls are open tomorrow, November 7th from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And for more information on poll sites, you can visit NYC pollsitelocator.com. We have to take a quick break, but coming up, we'll take a look at a workshop made to provide financial literacy towards higher education. Stay tuned. Welcome back. On November 13th, Goodwill Jobs Plus will host a Paying for College workshop. Joining us with details on what will take place, we have Irvis Berta, financial counselor from the New York Legal Assistance Group, and Dwayne Brown, occupational skills coordinator at Goodwill Jobs Plus. Welcome, gentlemen. Irvis, did I say your last name correctly?
That was correct.
Okay, good. Because I have a history, people never say my last name correctly, so we want to make sure that's right.
Right.
So, gentlemen, I want you to tell me about this program. It sounds so great, especially with all the talk about free college. A lot of people don't have the information. Tell me how your program is going to be doing that.
Okay. Jobs Plus is a public housing-based employment service center, and we try to help our members, residents who live in Monroe houses, Classen Point, and Sackworm, by connecting them with employment opportunities and also by connecting them with educational opportunities. So this month, November, is College Month, and we're focusing on getting our members to enroll in college, those who are looking to go to college. Irvis is the lead person for the workshop that we're doing. It's the Paying for College workshop, and let him tell you a little about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Dwayne was saying, November is the College Readiness Month, and as part of that effort, we are going to have the Paying for College workshop next Monday. We're going to look at several things. Basically, we're going to begin with sort of the bigger landscape, some of the facts of what are the different types of aids. We have federal aid, which all of us, I believe, are familiar with. There's state level aid, there's institutional aid, just talking first about the facts.
Yeah.
And then the details on when do we apply, what do we need to apply. So that's sort of the first part. I think the second part is going to be more about talking about what happens after the application, because there's all sorts of questions, and really the financial aid process is kind of dynamic, and I think one thing we want to get our members to think about is that it's something they have to continually engage. So the other questions we're going to look at are going to be things like, what is my financial aid award letter? Does it make sense? How much college? What kind of college? So thinking about the bigger picture.
And this is so important because I remember when I was going to college, this was years back, but I remember when I was going to college, I mean, sitting down with my parents and going through the paperwork, but sometimes it could be very stressful because I did not understand everything that was going on. I had to go to my counselor numerous times just to make sure that I was understanding everything that was going through, especially when I got into college, because this is something you have to do every year, right?
Yes.
As you're in school?
Yes, and we're aware that it's intimidating for a lot of our members as well, so that's why we're trying to offer the workshop to take away some of that apprehension that they may have towards going to college. And this workshop actually started because Irvis was working with a lot of members who were either had student debts or they were concerned. They're going to schools that were for profit, and Irvis was working with them to explain that you can still have an education and you can still make it affordable and not have a huge debt when you complete the college.
So this is for schools that are only in New York City. Address that. Which schools would they be able to apply to?
Right. So with our members, we want to help them holistically with the entire financial aid and college financing process, right? So what Dwayne said is absolutely correct, that with our members, we want to be sure that we're thinking about the type of school. How much is it costing? Is it a career school? If so, maybe there's some additional questions we have to ask about how many people are graduating, what kind of jobs are they getting. But really, we want to help our members holistically, and they might be at different stages. So someone that's just coming out of high school might have a different set of tasks to achieve that someone that maybe has been out for a little bit or maybe took some classes and then took a break.
So the age ranges, it's not just for students coming straight out of high school.
No,
Yeah, all of our members, anyone that lives in the developments that we serve are eligible for our service, and it's obviously confidential, it's one-on-one, and really we're there for them for the entire process, because and I'd be happy to talk about specifics about the different types of scholarships and things. You mentioned the Excelsior Scholarship, which is I think a very exciting thing that we have in New York State right now. But we really want them to understand that it's not just the applying. After you apply, after several months, you'll get your decision letters. Then you're going to have to evaluate all the different award letters. Compare what type of aid is each school giving me. Is this aid going to be sufficient just for this year? Do I need additional costs? So the FAFSA and the application at the beginning, which is where we're at right now, is just hopefully the beginning of a conversation. And then we want to be sure that they're not missing out on at least the basics.
Absolutely.
So FAFSA, so we can be eligible for Pell Grants, federal student loans, if that's a part of the package. The state of New York has a lot of aid through the TAP, the Tuition Assistance Program, and the Excelsior Scholarship. And we want to encourage our members to look at the CUNY and the SUNY system. Our experience is
Great
that
education here with
absolutely.
CUNY and SUNY.
Absolutely.
yeah, and our experience is that our members that do go through CUNY come out with less debt, with generally really positive experiences, and so we want to encourage that. But of course, we will help our members in whatever school they want to go to, and we want to help them achieve their dreams.
So how does one know that they're qualified to take part in this program? Because you said right now you're only helping those in the Sackwern and Monroe and Classen Point, right?
Okay, so we had a discussion about it. We are trying to track those members. If anyone watching right now is from those developments, we encourage you to stop by Jobs Plus and participate. But we would like to help Bronx residents. If you're in the area and you would like to participate, you're welcome to join as well.
So you don't have to be in New York City Housing just to be in that area? Just to be from that community?
To be a member in the program, you have to be from those developments that I mentioned. But
Okay.
If you want to participate in the workshop, you're welcome.
Yeah, so yeah, as Dwayne was saying, that we focus on our members for most of the services, but there's a lot of things that we do that are open to the community, and I think the workshop is a good opportunity for
Absolutely.
that. And then we're a little earlier, but tax season is another time when we have services that we kind of offer to the whole community, so this is kind of a part of that. I
On
think.
November 13th, would they have to bring, because the event is on the 13th, right, on Monday from 2 to 5, would they have to bring anything to be a part of this workshop?
So my understanding is that we're going to have it open as far as the beginning, as far as specific documents. Really, we just want them to bring their curiosity and their questions,
Okay.
right? And depending on what topics are more interesting, we'll work with that. And hopefully we'll have a little bit of time at the end to maybe even talk to people one-on-one.
Of course, you're telling people about this through BronxNet here, but how else are you reaching out to the community to let them know about this program? How else can they find out more?
We're in the community. We are promoting with flyers, and we're also on social media as well. So that's pretty much how we've been getting the word out.
On Facebook and on Instagram?
Yes.
What's your
Goodwill
page?
Jobs Plus on Facebook.
Excellent. You guys are doing a wonderful job. I wish I had you around when I was growing up and I was applying for college, but thank you so much for what you're doing in the community, and I'm hoping that the place is packed because it's necessary.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you so
Thank you
much.
guys.
Cheers.
We have to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Open.
And I can't change, even if I try, even if I wanted
our neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Every Monday night at 9, we talk to the borough's movers and shakers about the latest in Bronx politics, education, healthcare, arts and culture, and literally any and everything that's important to the people of the Bronx. There's a reason why Bronxites have been turning to Bronx Talk for more than 20 years, because Bronx Talk is about you and me, the people of the Bronx. So we'll see you Monday night at 9.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Welcome back. Schools That Can works to provide creative hands-on programming for learning, and on November 18th, they will hold their pop-up makerspace event. Joining us with the details, we have Casey Lamb, Chief Operations and Development Officer, as well as Chelsea Chateauvert, Manager of Development and Events. Welcome, ladies. I was saying I love your colors today. We're all working with our hints of green, right? Bringing in fall colors. So tell us more about this program. It's so interesting what's going on with the Makerspace, and you have so much going on this year. Casey, why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about the organization?
Yeah, so Schools That Can, we've been around for a little bit over 10 years, and we started as an organization that was identifying and celebrating high-performing and high-potential schools across sectors serving low-income communities. So we have charter, district, independent, faith-based schools. We share practices, and we, over the last few years, have really defined our focus on what we call real-world learning. We just published a rubric last year that defines what real-world learning is for schools, but it includes things like partnerships with community organizations, hands-on real-world learning experiences in classrooms, a more holistic vision of student success, connecting education to employment, and having public displays of authentic student work. And our Maker program is really one of our sort of signature programs that highlights real-world learning in schools. We run a fellowship with teachers from 5 schools across the New York City, across 4 of the 5 New York City boroughs, and we provide training, curriculum, and support for them to run maker spaces in their schools. And last year we decided that we wanted to open this up to the broader community and show others what maker education is all about. And so Chelsea sort of spearheaded that effort, and we hosted one last spring, and this is our second maker pop-up.
So Chelsea, what can we expect for the pop-up space?
Oh my gosh, lots of fun-filled learning. Everything is hands-on, like Casey said. It's all related to the real world, something that students need to learn early on so that they can be successful once they graduate high school, get a job, go on to college, whatever they choose to do. But the projects that they'll do in the makerspace can be anything from paper airplane making to LED bracelets, virtual reality experiences, things that are very natural and relative to the 21st century and the world that these students will inherit. So
I'm guessing a lot of technology is going to be
yes.
involved in this.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really excited this year. It's hosted at Google's offices, which is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they've been super supportive. We've got a lot of supporters. One of the companies that works with us, organizations for after-school and in-school programs, is joining us, Maker State, as well as architectural firms and an ad agency. So we've got a lot of different organizations coming to help out this year.
How are you recruiting for the students?
For the Maker pop-up in particular, it's through our schools, and also we have a regional advisory board, and they have sort of put the word out to their friends and their families, and they're bringing their kids as well. So one of the things that we're really excited about is it's going to be a real sort of cross-section of our community. We'll have students from STC schools and Upper West Side schools working side by side to make these activities.
And what's the age range? I see that you work from what? Is it like elementary to high school?
Yeah, Schools That Can works from pre-K through 12, but the pop-up is for kids ages 4 to 11. So we like to work with our young makers for this program.
So just getting their creative juices flowing
Yeah,
early.
their parents can come and participate and watch, so everybody gets a little bit of learning.
So talk to a little bit about the mission. What inspired this, and why do you think it's so crucial to introduce this to our children early?
So Schools That Can, our mission is to reimagine education through real-world learning that closes the opportunity and skills gap. And we have a vision of a cohesive education to employment pathway that starts in kindergarten, or pre-K even, as Chelsea said, where early on we believe it's important to ignite passions in students, and the way that you do that is through hands-on activities and give them the chance to test different kinds of learning out, and once you've ignited that passion, then give them the chance to explore it in the middle school space. So by high school, they should know what they want to pursue and be able to maybe participate in a more intensive internship, because really by the time you hit 12th grade, if you don't know what you want to do, then it's too late in some ways. You know, college, we just heard the financial literacy, about the financial literacy workshop, and we know how important it is to understand the investment that you're making in college, and we want to help kids before they have to make that decision figure out, how does college fit into all of this for me? What is the passion that I want to pursue in my life? So we start early.
So how long has the program been running?
The Maker Fellows program has been running for 4 years. We just did this first community pop-up like this last spring.
And tell me, how have the students, what's been the feedback from the students and their parents?
Oh, well, the first pop-up was such a success. It was a small group, but everybody had a really great time. They thought this was something they'd never experienced before, and we're so thrilled to have been able to participate in an event like this. And last year, our event was, roughly 30 kids, and this year we're already over 100 participants, and I think we've got something like 50 students are coming. So it's definitely something that we hope to grow, and that will continue to bring in more enthusiasm for maker projects in education. So.
Do you see, go ahead.
We hear so many stories from the teachers who are running the programs every week in their schools also, of students who, like a teacher just told me the other day about a student who has physical and cognitive disabilities and who really lacks confidence in the classroom and actually struggled with some of the programming aspects of the program that we ran earlier in the year. And then the last series that they did was a rocket science challenge. And when she came out and was able to do hands-on activities and actually build things, they just saw her confidence flourish, and she was able to assert herself more in class.
That's exactly what I was going to talk about. Like, do you see it helping them in their general studies as well?
Yeah. And another teacher told us about a student who, she learned, one part of the program is they learn Scratch programming and they create video games. And she was able to use the skills that she learned from that to apply for a film-based summer camp to learn more about animation. And so that's a way for her to, again, explore an interest that she's developing and pursue beyond school. So we have a lot of examples of kids really just tapping into an interest they didn't realize and developing confidence and skills that they didn't know that they had.
And are you introducing them to all areas or different fields of like business, the arts, medicine? So it's touching on like different fields of study?
Yes. Yes. And this program, so we actually just won a National Science Foundation grant to expand the Maker Fellows program in particular. And so we're going to be working with the Research Alliance out of NYU as well as Maker State. And that emphasis is really on computer science and bringing it into the science classroom.
So a lot of STEM
for sure. Yeah. But we have, in our other programs, we connect students to all sorts of different career pathways. We have a STC Career Skills program that we run in Newark, where we have partnered with a high school to build out a manufacturing pathway, and we're starting to partner with another high school down there as well to build out a pathway focused on supply chain management. And then we also have we run an education to employment event where we bring together local companies and we connect them to students so that they can go out and do a job shadow. And there's a wide range of externships that are provided through that, so kids can learn about advertising or technology or health sciences or whatever they're interested in.
There's so much information and
Yeah.
so little time. But how can we, parents who are interested in this for their children, how can they get involved?
The pop-up is currently advertised through Eventbrite, so you can go on there and sign up and join the wait list. Unfortunately, we've sort of reached capacity at this point, but we're hoping to be able to expand to more. And if it goes well, we'll do another one in the spring. So we'll definitely make sure everyone knows about that. But they can find it on Eventbrite. It's the Schools That Can Pop-Up Makerspace, and it's on November 18th.
And if people are interested in getting involved with Schools That Can more generally, they can just go to our website, schoolsthatcan.org, and there's ways for them to get involved as a school or join our newsletter or donate or whatnot.
Excellent. Thank you so much, ladies. Great program.
Okay, thank you.
We have to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Open. Hello, welcome back. The African Diaspora International Film Festival works to bring people of all backgrounds together to showcase their cinematic work. And on November 24th, they'll make their way to New York City. Joining us with a preview, we have the festival's co-founder, Diarra Indosbeck, school program coordinator, Paola Beltran, and director of photography for Caribbean Girl NYC, Joe Foley. Joe, did I say that right?
Yes, you said that.
Excellent. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
We are so excited to have you all here. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm definitely excited about this festival because I love independent films. So tell me more about this festival and what we can expect from it.
This festival was established in 1993 with the goal of really showcasing films that present the life experience of people of color all over the world. And so we are celebrating 25 years. We're going to be in 3 venues in Manhattan, and we are going to bring 61 films from 31 countries. And we have filmmakers coming from Barbados, from Cuba, from Chile, from the UK, from Ghana, you name it. We have a really...
Ghana? That's where my family's
from. From Senegal as well. And it's a really exciting time to discover. On one hand, we give a platform to filmmakers. We also have lots of local filmmakers so that they can expose their work on the big screen. And also it's a way for people to connect, because we have a lot of commonalities across different cultures of people of African descent, and sometimes we don't know each other very well, and films is a wonderful way to communicate.
Definitely, and a wonderful way just to introduce people to the culture of what's going on in different parts of the world. Paola, you're as the school program coordinator. Tell me what you're going to be doing with the festival.
Yes, so I coordinate with the schools to create this wonderful event, which is free also for the community. And this event is one of the very few film events that is offered for children. So what we do, we have along with the festival, so they're able to attend, and we have 7 films from different countries. We have France, Kenya, Colombia, for example, and we also have Filling in the Gap, which is a very important film because it has like a very historical context to it. It helps the students who are like from African descent to identify themselves with it and learn about this history that it's not always shown in the classrooms. It's a very historical, that it shows how the African defense contributes to this country, that it's almost hidden in history, so they're able to learn about it, which we have a lot of people coming from different boroughs. We have Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan as well, and they're coming, and we still have a space available as well. So we have about 3,000 seats now for the festival, so they're able to attend.
That's wonderful. And I could just imagine the imagery that we're going to be seeing here. Joe, just talk about some of that, what we're going to be seeing, maybe some of your favorite films that you've come across so far.
Okay, well, in the festival, there's quite a few films in the festival from all around the world and all around. Our film is set in New York City, but with 4 Caribbean women, one from Guadeloupe, one from Trinidad, Jamaica, and Barbados. And so we have a lot of color and a lot of great music in the films.
And just exploring, talk about more about the Caribbean Girl NYC. What's the theme of the movie?
Sure, yeah. So basically it's about Isabel, who's a young woman who's coming from Guadeloupe to New York City with a dream of becoming an actress and a singer on Broadway. And when she arrives, she ends up meeting a good friend of hers, and the first night she's taken out to a nightclub and ends up singing this zouk music, which is Guadeloupean, very Guadeloupean music, and she's singing it, and so she thinks her dreams are, a week away. The next morning when she goes to go for the job that she was sent here to do, she finds out she doesn't have a job, and also that her visa is a tourist visa, and that she can't work, and so problems pile up, but she's resolved that she's going to stay here and and try and figure out a way to realize her dreams.
So we're addressing real issues, especially with that movie. I mean, there are many immigrants who come here who are fighting just to get their papers, especially now, who are fighting to get their papers, but they want to stay here because this is where they're coming to achieve their dreams. Right. So you're addressing real issues in the movie.
Right. There's a beautiful scene between Isabel and Antone, who's a security guard, someone she just meets, and he's basically come from Haiti, and he struggled with these same problems. Yes. So it's a beautiful scene between the two of them, and he's trying to help her to figure out how she's going to be able to stay here and how she's going to be able to achieve her dreams.
Why is it so important for you to expose cultural life in your movies? I mean, within this program, within the film festival?
Well, I think it, like Paola mentioned earlier, it gives access to information that people don't know much about at all. And one of the strong points, I think, in the festival is we have a lot of historical films that portray people that are very important in the contribution to the life of people of African descent. I'm thinking of Winnie Mandela, for example. We have a documentary about her that's very revealing in her struggle still today for people in South Africa. We also have a film about Miriam Makeba, who was also important, that the younger generation doesn't know much about. We have a film about Malcolm X, which is a world premiere with a lot of people who are interviewed who knew him as a person and participated in his work. Sammy Davis Jr. also is featured in the film. And all of these films, I think, bring some historical context. We are in a time where there's a lot of turmoil, and the issue of social justice is very present in our festival, the issue of activism, the issue of self-determination, all of those questions that people ask themselves today are addressed through the films. And so with the films and the filmmakers, there are a lot of dialogue. We presented as a sneak preview a film about Bill Duke that deals with religion. That was very, very interesting. We had people from from the US, from the Caribbean, and who were of different religious background, and there was a strong dialogue because people want to go deeper. You know, they want to be less superficial about things because there's a lot of struggle right now, I think, in society, and so the festival is a great place to be exposed to important and intelligent conversations.
And I could just imagine you're helping these directors and videographers so much with exposing their work.
Absolutely,
right, with this film festival.
Yes. That's the other factor, which is giving a platform for these filmmakers to show their films. A lot of films, including by independent African-American filmmakers who are coming from Texas, from Dallas, who don't make it into New York at all. You know, they get a chance to expose their work and connect and make connections in the industry. So that's also very valuable.
When is the film festival happening?
November 24th to December 10th.
And how can, if I wanted to come see it, if my friends wanted to come see it, how can we take part?
Eventbrite has information on it, and also our website, nyadiff.org, where people can see the entire lineup, they can download the schedule, and they can look at trailers and learn more about all of the films.
Now, if there's a director who's watching right now who would like to submit a film for the following year, how can they do so?
On the website, also on the homepage, there's a Submit Your Film page where they can download the entry form. It's free. We are happy to look at everything that people want to submit. And we have a lot of local filmmakers as well who are featured in the festival.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. Thank you all so much for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We have to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Open.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. Your whole world changes in an instant. That's what happened to me the day my mother had a stroke. I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke fast.
Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back. On November 18th, Nourish will hold an interactive cookshop. Joining us with details, we have instructor Arabelle Reyes. Welcome, Arabelle.
Thank you.
So you're doing this workshop a week before Thanksgiving. So that means I really have to think about what I'm going to be eating.
Yes.
Can I cheat on Thanksgiving and then go back to mindful eating on Friday?
Preferably you eat mindfully through Thanksgiving.
So talk about what Nourish is, what it's all about, and why was it inspired?
Nourish is a cook shop, as you mentioned, an interactive cook shop. A few years ago, I went out to a cooking class with my son, and we had such an amazing time. But I realized that there wasn't much interaction between the guests. He and I had a ball. The other groups also had a great time, but among us, there wasn't. So I wanted to create something where we were all interacting together. We were all learning, not just from the instructor of the class, but also a topic at hand, something that would be empowering, powerful, and motivate us and make us happy and feel better. So that's how Nourish came about.
Okay, so what makes, because you mentioned that you're inspired by a cook class that you took before. So what's different about your cooking class?
I think the difference is that we're not just learning about that menu. We're not just learning about zucchini noodles or how to make a vegetarian dish. We're actually incorporating a theme. So for this one, for example, we're concentrating on mindful eating because I feel that we're so distracted with technology, television, our phones, and we're making eating automatic, like mechanical, instead of actually enjoying what we're eating, paying attention to what we're eating. The intention of nourishing and sustaining our bodies. So at Nourish, at each event, the topic is different. The theme is different. We have a guest speaker who leads us in the topic at hand. So we're learning, we're feeding our minds with the content, we're feeding our bodies with the nutritious meal, and it's healthy, and our hearts because we're being of service. In Nourish, we are not just cooking, but we're serving each other. We are empowering, we are giving someone a hug. There's nothing like live interaction. There's nothing like feeling the energy of someone else. And we're having fun. What better way to do that than with food? I love food.
So do I. Who doesn't, right? I love food, of course. So what's going to be the topic coming on November 18th?
November 18th will be mindful eating. It's coming back to listening to our bodies, not just watching TV and eating, which we can overeat. It's very easy to overeat when we are distracted by something else. But now we're going to try and learn to listen to our bodies. Are we really hungry? Are we just thirsty? What is our body saying?
So how do you do that? Like, tell me. So are you saying that, okay, let's say I have a meal in front of me.
Yes.
I have my breakfast, right? So you're suggesting...
Shut the phone.
Shut the phone. Can I watch TV? Is watching TV going to distract me from really taking in what's going in my body?
I think it will distract you because if you see a commercial or something going on, action, you're going to look at the TV. You're going to pay attention. So that's not to say that you're just going to eat quiet and focus only on your food. But even if you're eating with someone else, you're really eating with the intention of nourishing your body, of sustaining your body. You pay attention to where the food is coming from. You have a conversation that is pertaining to the moment. It's being present in the moment. Yes, being present.
I think it's easy because, okay, I think a lot of people, I try to practice, especially when I'm out with family, my husband, my parents, my brothers, friends. You know, if I'm out with them, then, you know, we'll put away our phones because you don't want to be distracted.
Exactly.
So that I definitely understand. But by yourself, I think, do you think it's more of a struggle to do it alone? Like, to really focus on your meal, and I don't think it's impossible to do. I think it's a great thing to do. To really just, you're saying to just be present with yourself, right, and be present with the food that's in front of you.
I think that when we pay attention to the moment, we savor differently.
Yeah.
So even when you're alone and you really have no distractions, and let's say that you're eating, whether it's a bowl of pasta, you start savoring the
flavors,
ingredients. And the spices and the pasta, and you're like, oh, maybe it's still al dente, maybe not. The point is that you actually pay attention to what you're eating. And when you do that, you don't overeat. You're not gonna have extra meals. You're actually gonna be fulfilled. And our guest speaker, Jennifer Sterling, will help us, lead us, and really gives us tools on how we can incorporate mindful eating.
Are you going to be showing how to make a dish as well as the mindful eating?
We have a menu that we're all going to make there, and we're going to
menu?
share. It's top secret as of now.
You have to show up. You have to be there.
The menu is created by the nutritionist, Jennifer Sterling, and she will present it to us at the moment. Usually it is vegetarian and vegan because it's healthy and it's easier because of allergies and nutrition restrictions. But we're all going to eat it. We're all going to share it. We're all going to have an experience, an amazing experience.
I see here that you have 3 words: intention, attention, and appreciation.
Yes.
What is that? How do I apply that?
The intention is, instead of just eating because you don't have anything better to do, you're bored, you are focusing on other things. The intention is really, what am I going to eat that is going to nourish my body, that is going to heal my body, that is going to sustain me. So we want to eat because we want to get better, and we want to be mindful of that. We want to be present. The attention is when we do have the food in front of us, where did it really come from? How was it really made? Is it organic? Does it have pesticides? So many things. The appreciation is we need food. We need food to survive, and we're blessed and to have the choices that we have now to eat. So the appreciation is appreciating what Mother Nature has given us.
That's wonderful. How can one take part in this event? Is it free for the community?
There is a fee, and the event is on Eventbrite.
Okay.
And if anyone has questions on either attending the event or they would like to be a guest speaker, it's really important for me to have people that want to share with the community.
Absolutely.
For Nourish, it has to be something that it's really going to be impactful for all of us. And that's what I'm looking for, that the experience that we have there, that we pay it forward later on.
Is it a small class? About how many
It is.
people are
It's
usually in the
usually
class?
under 15 because I want to keep it intimate. There has to be a connection.
Yeah.
It's important for me that we all feel that we're together there. So in my email, orabel15 at AOL, definitely reach out to me and we can chat further.
Orabel, this sounds great, and I am going to try to
Yes,
do this.
you are
I really am.
cordially
I'm
invited.
Thank
Please
you.
come join us,
I'm
everyone.
going to be more mindful of my food every time I sit down.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We have to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with more.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Our next guest is a fashion designer, producer, entrepreneur, and founder of the Kitty Rose lifestyle. We welcome Catherine S. Warren of Kitty Rose to the show and to share more about her work. But more, I mean, this was an impromptu, but also you are a BronxNet producer. So can we give her a round of applause for that?
Here's my
Our very own
camera.
Access producer here. So you have a show here at BronxNet
Yes.
called Natural Sessions,
Yes, I
right?
do.
And you were trained here as
I
an Access
was.
producer. So talk to us about that. Talk to us about your show and your
Okay.
experience as a BronxNet producer.
Well, I took the field producer certification course back in 2015. So right away, well, not really right away, about a few months later, I kind of already knew the concept of what it is that I wanted to do. I was producing radio, so it was just a natural evolvement, I guess, to go into television. And then I started filming in North Carolina last year, and because of a breakup, I realized that I had a show. So I did my, paperwork with BronxNet, and I've been on since last September of, what's this year now, 2017? So I've been on since September of 2016, a full year
Congratulations
now,
with
yes.
that. That's
And I'm in my
excellent.
third season,
Good.
so yes.
So talk to us about the show. Is it a lifestyle show?
Okay.
A scripted show?
It's a raw, candid conversation style, documentary style show, similar to us, similar to Open, but we're not in a studio environment where we shoot on location. And I'm on Thursdays at midnight because I cuss and smoke.
She doesn't really smoke. She doesn't really
Yeah, I do. But the funny thing is, I
She's keeping
really
it safe
don't,
for morning TV.
But the funny thing is, I don't. Out of 40 guests, we might have had 2 or 3 people actually smoke on the show.
Right.
But it's a like I said, it's a candid conversation where we talk about life, love, and everything in between. But where people see themselves in other people's narrative.
Okay.
I think a lot of times the struggles that we go through, we keep them secretive, and they repeat the cycles because no one talks about them, because we're ashamed or embarrassed, or we just don't make the time. So this show allows you to see the story in someone else that you may not think of or you may not look like, but hear the similar story to know that you're not alone. And then now maybe knowing that you're not alone, maybe you can use their tools, or just knowing you're not alone to kind of get out of the embarrassment and begin to heal yourself outside of trying to heal world problems. Start with the
within.
healing within yourself.
Absolutely. And it's always so good to see when individuals come here for the training courses and they actually put what they've learned into action. So I applaud you for keeping up with it and also having your show on for a year.
Thank you.
So what
Go
ahead. No, go right ahead.
I was going to say, well, BronxNet has actually been also a great assistance also. That's all I wanted to plug them and let them know that they're doing their thing as well.
Excellent. Yes, we love our field trainers here. Audrey Duncan, who's in charge of the director for the training program, she does a wonderful job as well with all of the teachers as well. So, tell us more about what inspires you to do your show and what's your goal for the future for it?
What inspired me to do Natural Sessions was really, again, we are in a stage of life where everyone wants to, heal the bigger problems. But what I realized is that in order for us to heal the bigger problems, we have to heal what's kind of not cool about ourselves and take accountability. So I kind of just want to, take that Band-Aid off and not do temporary healing. I actually want to provide solid action plans for people to do that self-healing and know that it's okay because it's just a part of life. And then within that self-healing, then they could do the healing in their homes, and then in the healing in the homes, then on a global level, we can actually make change. So that's pretty much what my goal is. It's like in order for us to
I want to be the change, what they say, that you want to see. So I'm not a talker. Well, I am a talker.
Yeah.
But I'm a doer. I'm an action girl. And, you know, I was a minister at the age of 10, and I just feel like I'm following my purpose.
Excellent. And I love that you said that because BronxNet, once again, it's about training local residents.
Exactly.
And you came here, you're spreading your mission, you're spreading your movement to your neighbors.
Yes.
You know, so talk about how important that is or how it's made you feel. You know, when people are watching you and they're saying, you know what, Catherine, that was a great show. You know, your advice really helped me.
Well, it's good and bad. Well, no, it's all good. But I say the bad because with all the good comments you get now your slew of, well, why you did that and why'd you talk about that and that was too much. But the good overshadows that, which allows me to keep going. But I think it's that community. I'm that village girl.
Yeah.
I'm that person who believes in taking care of the village and being involved in the village. And I grew up as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So going knocking on my neighbors' doors is not new to me. Talking to my community, sharing with my community, especially when it comes to the urgency of life. We don't have time to just sit on the what they call it on the field, on the sidelines. You know, we have to actually be a part of action. And again, you know, these sayings that we have out there are not sayings for no reason. If you want to see change, you have to be a part of it. If you want to be a part of what's going on, then you have to be involved tomorrow.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? November 7th, plug, because I'm not a voter, but I'm also not a complainer. You know what I mean? So my thing is, if you're going to talk about and complain about something, then what are you doing? So I use that same question in myself, like Michael said, man in the mirror, what am I doing? If I'm not putting in that work and that action, then shame on me.
Right. And I know as an Access producer, you were talking about earlier that you can't do it alone. A lot of times what we suggest is that Access producers get together and help one another in promoting their shows and producing their shows because it is a team effort. So if someone is sitting out there and they want to help you on your show, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, I encourage BronxNet producers to work with each other. I encourage the field Access producers to work with the studio producers. I encourage the studio producers to work with the field because you can't do it alone. And for the most part, we all do have the same kind of message in as far as getting to the people. So, you know, find me online, Miss Kitty Rose 1, MSKITTYROSE, the number 1. My handle is the same on all social media. BronxNet, we got a producers page on Facebook. So, you know, producers who are looking to work together, yo, if you can, I'm sorry. You can find me in that group. You can find me in that group page and be like, yo, I want to work with you. I'm always looking for more work.
Excellent.
Assistance,
you know about the hard rap as an Access producer.
Yes,
we have to go. So, but as Kitty was saying, Catherine, you know, if you want to be an Access producer, you know, you could just log on to BronxNet.org and check out how you could be a field or studio producer. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. I'd like to thank our guests for joining us and you, the viewer, for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's show, you can tune into the recablecast of Open at 5 and 10 p.m. or watch anytime on the web at BronxNet.org, or you can catch all new episodes Wednesday at 10 a.m. with Darren Jaime. I'm Veronica Güity. Thank you for allowing me to be into your home, and I want to say that remember to let your light shine.
Thank you.